Hi, my name is Teresa Padico Poole. I am the current commander of American Legion Post 7 here in Easton. And today we are going to discuss a few events going on, coming up for May. And I'll discuss further afterwards a couple of events for June. We have American Legion Poppy Drive coming up in May, the month of May. We have poppy drives twice a year in the month of May and the month of November. So in May, we're going to have a poppy drive by mail, and it's an opportunity to make a donation, which will help Post 7 veteran programs to receive monies to help with poppy, and you'll receive a poppy in memory of fallen and past veterans. I will have these flyers posted at the end of the video today, and it gives you the details of how you can mail a donation. You'll receive a thank you card. It's a very nice one, and you'll receive a poppy in a sleeve with the poem in Flanders Field, so it's a little bit special if you make a donation by mail. Poppies are used by the American Legion for memory and remembrance of past veterans. It's based upon the poem in Flanders Field and was originally written about the deaths of veterans during World War I. The poem echoes the sentiment of veterans, family members, and friends of veterans who make a donation to receive a poppy. The poppy is a tangible symbol in memory and remembrance of all fallen and past veterans and loved ones. So that's coming up the month of May. And so the whole month, from the 1st to the 31st, you can make a donation and receive the thank you card with the poppy in the plastic sleeve with the poem in Flanders Field. So we're going to be having two poppy drives. One is going to be at Walmart on May 20th. It is going to be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the entrance, the main entrance to the Walmart on Route 138. In Raynham for the poppy drive for that day. Post 7 uses donations to fund and sponsor many youth programs, such as the Post 7 Scholarship Program at local high schools, American Legion Boy State, and the American Legion Auxiliary Girl State programs, which is held at Stonehill College in the month of June. And that's for high school juniors. We have American Legion Baseball coming up in the month of June as well. When we get the schedules from the coaches, I will have them put on video and aired so that if you want to attend the games, you can come see the young boys and girls play ball at Frothingham Field for home games. They have away games, which are at pretty much Bristol County, not too far, some in Attleboro, some games in Raynham, Norton. So some of them are fairly local, and you could go to those games as well. And we also use donations for other worthy programs. So that's May 20th, Route 138, Raynham, Mass, Walmart, 8 to 4. And you'll receive a poppy for a donation of any amount. We'll also have a poppy drive here in Easton, and that poppy drive is going to be on Memorial Day weekend, Friday, May 26th, and Saturday, May 27th. It'll be at the Dunkin' Donuts at the Northeastern Village Shops after the drive-through. It's going to be from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, you make a donation of any amount. Get to see veterans, and you can thank the veterans, and you'll receive a poppy in memory of your fallen veterans and past veterans. So if there's any questions about the poppy drives, I will have my name and information where you can contact me in order to find out if there are further questions that you have. So thank you, and I hope as many of you come out as possible. And next to me I have Corey Ahonen, who's going to tell us about some events that he has.
Thank you, Commander.
Yes.
Yes, so be sure to check out those poppy drives leading up to our Memorial Day Parade, which this year will be on Monday, May 29th, which is actually Memorial Day. And we're gonna do the parade at 10 a.m. this year. Slight change from last year being later in the afternoon in years past. We just make this change to accommodate, families and more of the community members, hopefully
Right.
we'll see come out this year to support. We're encouraging folks to participate by, if they're able to make a float to participate in the parade, we'd love to see that. Just please check in with my office. I'm over at Frothingham Hall. You can reach me through the town website, and we'll make my contact information available here. Just please reach out, and we'd be glad to let you in the parade as long as, everything, all requirements are met and all that. So we'd like that participation. The parade route will be the typical, the Main Street route, which in the past we've used for Veterans Day ceremoniously because of the Depot Street construction still going on. So be on the lookout for that. So again, Monday, May 29th, beginning at 10 a.m. So if you're participating, please show up at Washington Plaza, the corner of Route 138 and Main Street. Be there by 9:30 so that we can step off at 10. The parade will go down Main Street, turn on to Sullivan Ave, making a stop at the monument, World War I monument, and continuing on to the Veterans Memorial Park, where we will have a concluding ceremony, and there will be a meal served afterwards at the VFW at 61 Rockland Street. Also, please take note, if there is inclement weather that day, we'll make sure we get the word out as best as we can, but please plan to show up at 11 a.m. at the VFW Hall. Again, 61 Rockland Street. We'll just postpone 1 hour and host the event indoors at the VFW Hall, where the Legion also meets. So we're hoping for great weather and a great ceremony to honor our fallen heroes. That's what Memorial Day is all about, those who
Right.
made the ultimate sacrifice in service. Let us remember that, and just remember also, they would want us to enjoy our weekend and enjoy our families, but we need to definitely take time out of our lives and things we enjoy to pay respect for that.
Right.
And I'd also like to mention, so prior to the actual Memorial Day ceremony and then leading into the summer, it's a perfect time and opportunity to go replace the flags at our veterans' graves. So we go out there and do that. It's usually a date determined just shortly before Memorial Day, and this year it's going to be on May 12th. That's a Friday, and we're going to meet at Southeastern Cemetery at 9 a.m. And we will begin the operation there. And we have 1,500 flags that we put out all throughout town.
Right.
And I've already got some good response from a message I sent out about volunteers. So we should have plenty of volunteers. If you get this message and you'd like to come out, please just show up. Again, Southeastern Cemetery, right behind Stonehill there on Route 138. And 9 a.m. we'll show up there. We're going to basically go through, there's a little over 700 flags to reflag there.
Okay.
And believe it or not, that gets done in about a half hour or less with the amount of people that show up. So, within 45 minutes or so, I'd say, once we get some coffee and donuts in us, we will move through and end up over on Canton Street at Immaculate Conception Cemetery. And what'll happen there is, that'll be the next major cemetery that we work through, and then from there we filter off into the smaller cemeteries around
Right.
town, the individual graves, and you will see flags being replaced. So to our community members, anyone who's willing to participate, please reach out, show up, come work for 10 minutes or 2 hours. Anything is helpful, and also be on the lookout if, just beware, volunteers are helping to do this, so things happen, things are overlooked, maybe a flag is not replaced by accident. All you need to do is reach out to my office and we will get that fixed for you. We're available throughout the year to replace flags and medallions. So I'm over at Frothingham Hall at 15 Barrows Street, and my phone number there is 508-230-0690, extension 1. And yeah, thank you for having me on. I'm glad
Oh,
to
good.
present this information with you. I think we get looking forward to
Right.
some good events to honor our veterans and those who have passed.
Right. May seems to be the busiest month. With
It is busy.
It's very busy with the poppy drives,
Oh, yes.
the parade, and other events.
Yeah.
This year, the Lions Club is having the
right.
celebration of Easton
That's going to be a good one.
on
Yes.
May 13th. So
Yes.
I don't know if they're sold out, but I'll have that flyer for you as well
Yes.
on this video. And if you want to call up and see if they still have any openings, and particularly if there's any veterans that might be interested. Post 7 has bought tickets for a table, and Corey.
I also have. I have 10 tickets. They haven't been, strictly assigned yet, and I think I have plenty in the reserve. So it's going to be it's going to be a very nice meal, sit-down style meal at Stonehill with a program. And, the Easton Lions it's a great organization in Easton, and they want to honor our veterans. So I think we should take this opportunity to make sure
Right.
that we participate, fittingly and
Right.
get involved in that.
Yes, so if you're a veteran, give us a call. You can either call me and I'll get you the information. In the flyer, they have a QR code. If you have a cell phone that you can use to sign up and make payment for it. So, definitely if you're a veteran, call us, call me or Corey.
Yes.
And we'll see how many seats are available, and as Corey said, he has a little money he can
Yep.
work with.
Yes.
So if a veteran would like to go, we'd be happy to sponsor them.
Yes, for sure. And real quick, again, the date on that, I know you had said the date, May 13th, it's a Saturday, 6 to 10 p.m., and childcare is provided on site. I believe that is sponsored by Raising Multicultural Children, an organization in town, that they will be providing that as well. So it looks like cocktails, appetizers, dinner, and brief presentation, and then dancing with a cash bar, dessert buffet, and coffee to end the night. So
Right.
it should be a great night.
Yes. So I hope to see as many of you as possible at the event. Well, thank you for joining us for this portion of our video. As usual, I'd like to thank ECAT for all their coverage for us to be able to reach out to the community. And everyone take care and be well.
Thank you.
Thank
as
you.
well. Thank you.
I was videotaped on the train making poppies in 2018, and I got a phone call at the Boston office at the auxiliary, and this lady says, "We would like to get poppies, but we would really like to get them from the Boston Poppy Lady." That's what I've been deemed now, the Boston Poppy Lady. And I says, "Well, if you come to the 5th floor, which we call the Veterans Row, where all the veterans BSOs are, and come into my office, we'll have some poppies ready for you." Well, this little tiny, she was petite little thing, comes into my office and she looks at me and says, "Oh my, you're the Boston Poppy Lady." And she says, "I'm taking these back and I'm going to give them to members of Parliament on their Remembrance Day." And for you who don't know this, if you ever looked at the Queen of England, now the King, they always have a poppy either in on their person somewhere, so that when they're meeting veterans, that they can put a poppy on them. And they have a pin that they wear. They always have one in their person. That's one of the things that they must have. So again, that is what the poppies are. Why do I do it? I do it because of my 2 brothers who are Vietnam veterans. My brother Jim at one time was listed as missing in action. He went missing in action in January of 1969, and that's a terrible thing for a family to have, as you know. And for some reason, God sent him home to us on Christmas Eve. He came and knocked on the door at our house on Christmas Eve and said to my mother, "Do I belong here?" And what had happened was he was standing near a gasoline depot when it blew up and he was burnt. He lost his dog tags, and he had no memory of who he was. But the week before Christmas, he said, he kept telling him, I gotta go. So he ran away from the hospital and hitchhiked across the country and showed up on our doorstep on Christmas Eve. So my post, Berkeley, which is post 121. At that time, there was a man by the name of George Cummings. My father called him and says, George, we got a problem. My son's AWOL from the Army. We got to have help. So they went right to work and helped us get all of his treatment transferred to the East Coast. And that's why I'm so involved with the American Legion. And it's not just an organization. It's a family. It's a personal thing. And I've belonged now for over almost 40 years, and I will continue to work with the veterans and with them, whatever I do. And I always say I will do anything for the Legion. As long as it's legal, I will do it. So that's my story. Do you have any questions of me?
May I ask you to
Make it one more?
with reference to the god,
Mm-hmm.
the making of the
Poppy?
poppy?
And again, I take the shepherd's hook. I make a shepherd's hook out of the green. I take the crepe paper, which happens to be green for the life of a veteran, black for the death. I put it in the shepherd's hook. I let the shepherd wrap his arm around the veteran. I take the 4 blood red petals. One stands for the Father, the second, the Son. The third and fourth stands for the Holy Spirit, and God takes his arm and wraps it around the veteran for eternity. That's your poppy. That's it. Yes?
Do you realize the little law on the books that these ice cream vendors, food vendors are not allowed to sell or display small artificial flowers?
I knew that. And
Everyone else knows it.
yeah, but the thing is, I personally like our original poppy. Different organizations have the buddy flower, the plastic flowers and stuff, but everyone is made with love. And in one time, they used to be made at VA hospitals, and the veterans, it was part of a rehab program. And unfortunately, the state of Massachusetts kind of made it very difficult because you would have to pay them an hourly wage, which is comparable now. So we would have to pay $12.70 for them to make one poppy, which would not be feasible. We get the kits. Matter of fact, I get 100 of these pieces of plastic things every year. They shipped and they put right on my doorstep, so I don't have to go too far. And I sit there and make them. And the average donation for a poppy is between $3 and $10. That's what it figures out to be. So it's a good fundraiser for your veterans programs. Now, my unit uses it for the Creative Arts Program, which is wonderful. The National Creative Arts Program, it teaches the veterans to use different arts programs. We held the National Creative Arts Festival in Boston about 12 years ago. And to tell you a really fantastic story about this, there was an artist, a young man. He wasn't really that young. He was probably a Vietnam veteran. And he was an absolute great artist, but he was homeless, and it was in Texas. And he came up here and he showed some of his art, and an art dealer in Boston saw his art and said, we'd like to buy it and display. And he ended up having a nice show. He's now no longer homeless. And one of his goals is if people in the Texas area, if somebody dies while they're in the military, he will do a portrait for the family and give it to them. And this is all from our Creative Arts Festival. And I'm real happy. I just heard that it's possible we're going to have it back here in Boston again in the 2027. So I will be really, really happy to do that. So with that, there you go.
So again, this is Ann Fournier, and she's with the American Legion Auxiliary, who does many, many different things for the American Legion, the Auxiliary, and support roles.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Very good. Thank you for coming, Ann.
Oh, my pleasure. Now we can go home and get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I liked your reference in the book here, The Poppy Lady, about going back to 2019. And just so you know, Post 7 uses donations for the veterans and their families' youth programs, such as the scholarship program, Boys State, Girls State, scholarships, sponsors, and baseball, Post 7 baseball. So we focus most of our donations, which the poppies, between the May Poppy Drive and the November Poppy Drive, pretty
Yeah.
much covers our expenses for
All those
for all those programs.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you again, Ann.